Have you seen the color of the year for 2025? It's called Mocha Mousse. I don't know, I feel so conflicted with this color over here because this is beige, brown vibes, and this is putting the B in basic and then proceeded with like all caps for basic. And apparently, according to Pantone, it's described as a mellow brown infused with a sensorial and comforting warmth. Okay, I think it looks like baby poop, honestly. And we're gonna do a makeup look, which is this over here. Hopefully it embodies baby poop. Soft warmth, my gosh, okay. I thought just for fun, it would be nice to do a makeup look inspired by the color of the year. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're just gonna go in with the MAC Paint Pot using soft ochre. If I forget to name anything or whatsoever, do check out the description box down below because I'll probably have listed everything. With the MAC Paint Pot, I'm just using it to kind of cancel out the darkness and unevenness on my eyelids. Now I'm gonna go into this medium brown kind of eyeliner. It's this kind of color. This one is from ColourPop. I don't think they make this shade anymore. This is in Sunnyvale. And recently I've been doing this technique where I know this is my bare eyelids, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna line my eyeliner like this. Like, the messier the better. And you can see it's there, it's thick, it's very obvious. So I'm gonna take a flat shader brush like this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work quick. I'm just gonna try and blend it out. And also this like eyeliner is kind of old, to be honest. I feel like it's drying out like a little bit. So if you have a brand new gel liner or cream eyeliner, I think it will have a better time working around with this. But I'm just trying to kind of smudge everything out messily. And when compared to the other eye, you can see that this eye has that little bit of depth, a little bit of that, hint of chocolatiness to it. And you feel like this is still a little bit like too subtle, you want to amp it up, you can always go back in with another layer of that eyeliner. Oh, this part is looking straight. Been loving using this technique because it's just so easy to draw on and just smudge it all over. You don't have to be very, very accurate because even right now, my bare eye and just like this messy mess of brown smeared all over, it looks pretty good, right? Just like, okay, cool girl, effortless. And also because there's like that gradient from my lash line to the skin around here, it looks so blended. So initially when it comes to blending the eyeliner, like right over here, the edges of it, right? You want to take the flat shader brush, use this edge, like this part here, not so much the flat part here. So when you use this, and then you go in, and then you try and like blend it out, right? You can see that the blend is a lot more cleaner, and it's not so much of that thick surface area over here that's touching the eyeliner and just like smudging it over. With this thinner area over here, when you blend it out, it's a lot more accurate. And then when it comes to the general area, the flesh of your entire eyelid, you can take the flat part over here and you can just start blending it out all over. That's how you get this kind of like smudgy eye look. And in all honesty, if you wanted to, you can just throw on some mascara, you're done with your eyeshadow look. However, if you want to ensure longevity, especially if you live in a very humid climate, I recommend setting down a cream product like this down with at least some powder, because that way it enhances the longevity as well as the fact that the pigmentation will just lock into place. So I'm going to take this Raw Man Better Than palette. This one is in Mahogany Garden number 2. This is a warm tone eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to mix up these two matte shades over here because they're warm in tone, and this is like a hint of warmth of brown, right? So these two will be nice. And I'm going to take a clean brush like this as well. It's also kind of like an angled flat brush. And I am just going to mix these two shades, just a touch of this, because I feel like this can get really, really dark sometimes. But the undertone of it will match the base of the color that we're working with right now. Why is this brush so wet? Hold on. Okay, that brush was a little bit wet, concerning. I'm just gonna take on the same flat brush again, and I am just going to set as close as possible to the lash line. And when you add the powdered eyeshadow as close as to your lash line over here, right, you're kind of creating that gradient effect as well. So it builds in an intensity where this is dark and then it gradates to light. And once you apply the powder closer to your lash line, right, you can take whatever excess there is and you can just sweep it across the eyelid. You don't necessarily have to dip back into your eyeshadow palette, because sometimes when you add more product and then you like add even more, it just gets even like darker and darker in tone, like you spread it across. So you just want to be a little bit precise, like a little bit with your eyeshadow powder placement, like over here. You don't really have to go in with another layer of the powder eyeshadow. And if you have a look with the with and without the powder eyeshadow, you definitely can see the difference. Like this side over here, it's a little bit of the more va-va-voom kind of thing. This side still looks pretty okay. Honestly, if you are not looking to achieve such a deeper, smokier look, then you probably could go with something like this, or lay it down with a lighter brown eyeshadow, maybe something like around this tone around here, then that'll be good enough. But if you want something a bit more drama, then something like this for sure. Let me know in your daily life, right, which one would you go for? Like something that's a little bit softer, or you will like full on bring on the drama kind of thing. I want everyone to look at my eyes, that kind of vibe. Because sometimes for me, it really depends on my mood. There are days I'm just like, oh my god, I just want to do the bare minimum and head out the door. Then there are other times I'm like, I want to look smoking good. I'm gonna take the same brown liner and draw out a wing over here. Yeah, that's it. This is like one of the easiest eye looks I've ever done. This is getting very extra, but I'm just going to take the dark brown shade on this very, very thin, kind of like elongated pencil brush. And I'm just going to try and smoke out the wing again, because I want to add a little bit more depth, because right now everything is looking a bit too one-dimensional to my liking. So I'm just going to add a little bit of depth, the dark brown liner. I'm not too worried that the color of the liner will change a bit because of the powder. Actually, I was curling my lashes and I didn't clean this, I realized. And now there's a little bit of blue shimmer on my eyes. Dang it, okay, never mind, it's okay, we'll roll with it. I wanted this to be a pure matte look, but now there's a little bit of shimmer on it and I'm a bit like, I don't know how I feel. Let's just go in with some brown mascara first. This one I have is from 1028 Super Slim Curl Waterproof Mascara. This is in the brown shade. I haven't used a brown mascara in quite some time. And you can see that the brush on this is super fine. So I don't think it's going to be super volumizing, but definitely very lengthening. And it's going to be so easy to catch all of my tiny, short, straight Asian hair. Hold on, this is actually looking so good. Oh my god, I don't want to say obsessed. That's too... Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. It looks so lifted. And it caught everything, every single strand. I think using this on the lower lash line would be great as well. I might be a tad bit annoyed that I can see the shimmer remnants like on my eyelids, which I don't want that. So in order to kind of like cover it up, I might just go in with like a translucent white shimmer like this. This one doesn't have a lot of base pigment to it, so it's really nice and shiny. I'm just going to add like a little bit like right on top here. And I'm going to bring it like right on top as well, just to kind of help make my eyes look like taller in a sense. This isn't too bad either. Not hating it, not hating it. But I definitely would have preferred just leaving it like that smoky toasty brown. I think that was beautiful. I'm gonna move on to skin, and I'm just gonna do the same basic steps, like color correcting my under eyes and obviously going in with foundation. I think for the foundation at least, I'm gonna go for something that's a bit more higher in coverage. Definitely trying to keep it as close to my natural skin tone as well, because if you know, you've been on my channel, I've been doing like, key beauty stuff and all that. I realized there's a lot of Asian complexion, especially Korean and Japanese base makeup. Their undertones are normally not the most friendly for light olive skin tones, so I'm just gonna, I think, use my 8 Cosmetics CC cream. Also, I'm going out for a dinner later on, so I think something that is, I would say it's not super glam, but a little bit of makeup on would be kind of cute as well. But then again, I'm going to literally my neighborhood mall not even like 5 minutes away. So, is it a little much? Yeah, kinda. But do I like it? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna take some concealer. This is from Luna, and this is their very, very popular concealer. Point tip concealer, I can't remember what's it called. This one is in 0.5 and it's a little bit more on the brightening side of things for sure. But when I use a fluffy blending brush like this, and then when I blend it out on my skin, it actually works out pretty well. And after a while, it does kind of oxidize as well. So at least the under eye area here, we kind of brighten up a little bit. I go in with like a little bit, like a little dot of it, because a little bit really does go a long way with the Luna Tip Concealer. And you don't need much. It spreads out really well. This is apparently, even back then in like 2016, 2018, a supposed dupe for the NARS Radiant Concealer, but with a Korean shade range. So yeah, if you want to check out this one, this is great as well. I like this concealer. Probably should have bought it in a darker shade, but you know what? I think for this look, it actually works out. Yeah, I just realized I don't own a single warm blush. All of the blushes that I own are kind of vibrant in color, if not very pastel, and if not cool tone. So that's very interesting. So I guess maybe it's time for me to do like one of those like cheek, not say cheap, but you know, what's in my collection slash declutter kind of thing, because I think I'm due for one at least for the cheek. I'm gonna mix up the colors in this Mood Blending Cheek from Dazik. This one is in number 9 Almond Vanilla, and it has kind of like that baked finish. It's a little bit light, a little bit, but I love the colors in this because it's truly neutral. It's not too warm, not too cool. Almost a perfect shade of beige. Ironically. So when I apply this on my cheek, it does kind of brighten things up like a little bit, but I will add in like one more blush like later on. One thing I realized with Asian facial features in general is that our edges and facial features in general are pretty rounded and soft compared to maybe like European Western facial features. When you turn to the side, for example, you can see that even here, my face, it's a very soft slope. There's nothing too angular. When it comes to replicating Western makeup, for example, putting blush placements like right on the high points of your cheeks, right? My cheekbones are like really soft and non-existent. So placing the blush underneath my eyes and just like kind of diagonally across like this, found it to be like the most flattering for me personally. I'm gonna go into this blush from apieu. Haven't heard of that name in a long time, right? This is the Juicy Pang Meringue blush. This is expired, 2023. But I love the color of this because I don't think a lot of Asian brands do a color like this. It looks very toasty, but so flattering at the same time. And I'm just going to apply it on the edges of where I laid down the beige blush, just to give a little bit of that contoured look. I have been digging the Douyin look where you apply like the excess blush on your nose, the nose tip, so like here, and then a little bit on the nose bridge right over here. I may look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but I look like a cute Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I think for Mocha Mousse, people are gonna probably use bronzer. I think in Asian beauty at least, bronzer is a little bit hard to come by. I'm just gonna run it along my jawline and just kind of warm everything up. Oh, I forgot to mention, this one is from Pat McGrath. This one is the Divine Bronzer in Nude Honey. I think this color over here is like the perfect shade because it's not too warm. It's not like as if like you're rubbing red dirt all over your face. And when I bronze, I do this whole area like right over here. I think for a lot of Asian people, when they contour or bronze their jawline, right, they usually just like run it like right around here, which is valid. You can totally do that. But I suggest you try and experiment a little bit and don't be afraid to literally contour like this whole area right over here, like this whole strip. Because I feel that when I do that, a lot of times, this area seems a little bit more sculpted compared to this side over here. And I think it just blends the makeup much more better as well. Using the Judy Doll contour palette, this is the number 1 Waves. I have this in my daily makeup container. I've been using it every single time I do my makeup. I don't even use the Too Cool for School one anymore already. Because it's just so good, so much better. I feel like it flatters my Asian skin tone like so much better as well. Especially if you're like a light olive. This is good. Lastly, for the lips, I have a couple of options over here and I don't know which one to pick. But I have a feeling that the lippy will definitely tie in the whole eye look. I genuinely can't find my regular beigey brown lip liner from Sephora, so I'm gonna go in, oh my gosh, into this one from MAC. This MAC lip liner is in chestnut, and I think this one is like a brown, like a deep brown. That might be a bit too intense. The lip color itself, I think I'm going into this one from FLOWERKNOWS. This one is in golden wheat. This is not really giving that same brown toastiness. That's what's on my eyes. It's not reflecting on my lips. Okay, change. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my trusty Kate Tokyo Lip Monster. This one is in number 5. Good call, good call. Thank God I changed out the lippy because I don't know, there's something about... I like the color golden wheat from FLOWERKNOWS, but it's just that because clearly this one is kind of like that pinkish, dusty look. This one is brown in color. So this is the final look. What do you think of Mocha Mousse? Do you think this embodies the vibe of Mocha Mousse? I would love to hear your thoughts. And are you guys here for the color of the year? Let me know down below and I will see you guys in my next video, which you can check out over here.